Here we go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the finale of the I2I Xfinity Championship in Season 1. We've raced through 12 rounds, or 11 rounds, if you include the regular season. And this is what it all comes down to here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Realistically, we've got 6 drivers who can walk away with a title tonight, all of them separated by just 11 points going into this final race of the season. And just as well, with a limited field here today, it's going to be about a focus on those 6, and we will focus on them tonight in the Crash Testing for Dummies 150, live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll have 100 laps, stage at lap 40, all-important stage it will be as well, and a champion at the end of it. Myself, Ian O'Leary, Hamish Monroe in commentary with Jim Cunningham on the production of this broadcast here tonight. And this is what we've been building up to, Hamish. I mean, we've been advocates, or certainly I have, of this playoff format, and I think we've been rewarded with a great finale, as we always hoped we'd get.
Yeah, I think, the playoffs have proven to be beneficial to keeping this championship close, which is obviously proven that week in and week out. The only downside to it, as it often is in league racing, is it has then shrunken the numbers the last few weeks of entries. But we still have a fair amount of cars this week. Homestead's going to be a good test for these drivers, and we'll see how that all plays out. I mean, Homestead's a tough track. It's a tough track for these cars, tough track for these drivers to really get into a rhythm. It'll take a bit of strategy and a fair bit of actual skill of how they can approach this circuit to do their best here tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top. I mean, for my money, the 2 favourites have got to be Bailey Brannan and Trey Jones, but there's plenty of long shots in there like Mike Rinker as well, who could sneak their way into a championship winning scenario.
I'm still cheering on Mike Rinker. I predicted him to win about a month ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but
I really hope he doesn't win now, Ewan, because you've just mentioned that you predicted it. I really hope. No offense to Mike. I heard him speak for the first time last week, and I got to say, and he'll understand this reference when he watches this back. He sounds like how the Minnesota Wild play ice hockey. That is how he just sounds Midwestern. Completely Midwestern. So, but we'll see if he drives like a Midwestern driver, or if he drives like a NASCAR champion.
Didn't know anybody from Australia knew about ice hockey, but
yeah, I'm an Oilers fan.
But there you go. Do you get ice in Australia? Anyway,
only at the top of mountains.
I'm joking, by the way. Anyway, let's just run through in a bit more detail who is involved in the championship fight and indeed what points they're on. Of course, the top 10 after the regular season, in case you weren't with us, were all transported to 2,000 points and also additionally given their playoff points as well from race wins or stage wins or indeed regular season finishing positions that they'd accumulated across the season. And that gave us our playoffs. It's a 3-race run, no winner takes all, but makes it absolutely fascinating to watch. And as I say, I think we've had a good payoff. Trey Jones is the current leader. He won the first race of these playoffs 2 weeks ago back at Las Vegas. That put him at the top. Talladega last week was won by Mike Rinker, who is still only 4th, although, tied 3rd really, with Bailey Brannan. They're both 4 points behind Trey Jones. In between them is Charles Rinker, who's 2nd, 3 points behind Trey Jones. Then you've got a bit of a jump back to Paul Harris, who's 9 points off the win, and Cody Pruitt, who's 11 points off. I mean, it's a bit of a surprise, really, because Pruitt was one of the favourites at the beginning. Robert Stevens Jr., unfortunately, not quite been good enough across the season, or indeed these last 3 races. He's 34 points back. No longer, I think he does have a mathematical chance of winning, actually, but he'd have to win the stage and the race overall, and have everybody else have a disaster. So I don't think that's likely. Nicholas Meadows, Zach Smevers, and John Roberts are all out of the equation mathematically, and are just fighting for places. As is Chris Hone, actually, who's winning the best of the rest, who's currently in 11th, ahead of Trey Graber and William Hawker, who both jumped up last week with their finishing positions. It's more than we could have ever asked for, really, Hamish. I mean, 6 drivers separated by 11 points. And we've got absolutely no idea who's going to win this. I mean, a good day just for any of them, and they'll win it, I suppose. But that could be tricky tonight with the pressure at Homestead. That's going to be very, very tricky just to execute a normally good day.
Well, let's talk about this, right? So 6 drivers, 11 points. Let's think about who is most likely out of those 6 who are more than likely going to be the drivers who have got less of a long shot at winning this. So obviously Trey's leading the championship. He's a proven race winner. He can do this. Brannon, most wins of the whole season. He can easily do it as well. Mike with 2 wins, Cody with 2 wins. Both of those guys are within a shout, but Cody has a lot more work to do and has a lot more luck needed to win this because he'll need the other cars to finish a lot further behind him. The 2 drivers amongst this top 6, though, that need the most luck out of anyone, although Charles Rinker's positioned himself in a much better position, is Charles Rinker and Paul Harris. Paul Harris is within this championship fight with 9 points separating him and the championship leader, and he is yet to get a podium this season. Yet to get a podium and yet to get a race win. So if he's going to win the championship, arguably for my money, Ewan, he not only needs to get his first podium tonight, he's going to have to get his first race win at the very end of the championship and hope that he can beat Trey Jones by 9 points, Rinker by 6, Brannon by 5, Mike Rinker by 5, and then obviously just remain within 2 points of Cody Pruitt. So it's going to be a very interesting scenario. You know, those top 4 are the most likely drivers, I would say, to win this thing, but Harris and Pruitt have definitely got a shot. And Homestead is a bit of an X-Factor circuit. It's one where we can see big wrecks happening. We can see big cautions. It's anyone's game amongst that top 6, and it's just going to be about who can hold their momentum, who can hold their stead going forward throughout this race, and, well, who can keep themselves in a line astern throughout the running order of this race. A late break into the wall is going to ruin your championship. Probably a contact into the wall mid-race is probably going to ruin your championship as well. If any of them are going to have an incident, they're going to want it within the first 10 laps. Otherwise, we could probably put a line through their name.
I feel like it's also one of those circuits, because it's a sort of pretty standard 1.5 miles, ever since the banking was increased in 2003 around this circuit to 18 to 20 degrees of banking, as opposed to the previous layout when this was first built, just 6 degrees of banking. It was a rather strange 1.5 miles back in the day, but it's become a lot more comparable with a lot of the other circuits in NASCAR racing. So we've already had Vegas in these playoffs that is comparable. Darlington is kind of one of its own, I suppose, and so a bit less, but sort of the same. Kansas again, sort of the same, and Charlotte as well. So none of them directly comparable, because this is a slightly unique 1.5 miles in itself anyway. But we do have sort of a track record to look back on there, and as I say, in terms of previous race results, we can look at. We can definitely start to look to some of those races and pick out favourites from that. I think going forward into this race here tonight. I mean, at Charlotte, Logan Gill took the victory when we were last year. Cody Pruitt won at Kansas, though. He's one of our playoff drivers. Paul Harris was just outside of that top 3 on that day at Kansas. Darlington, it was Mike Rinker who took the victory. Vegas, it was in this playoffs, it was Trey Jones, obviously, to kick things off. So it's been pretty mixed, really. And, we've not had too many races to get a track record on, but certainly one of those circuits where you do wonder, there's just maybe a little bit of something there that we can look to as far as form guide goes anyway.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the likes of Vegas, Kansas, and Darlington. The difference is between those circuits and here at Homestead is, well, especially with Kansas and with Vegas, they're both tri-ovals. Darlington looks like a timing belt, and then we get to Homestead, which gives a very almost, I want to say almost IndyCar feel to it about its oval. Obviously, it's a bog standard 2 straights, 4 corners sort of quad oval style, very similar to Indianapolis in a sense, just a bit less square, but it's the running sort of approach to this race is going to be drivers are going to have to ride the brakes through the corners, just trail brake the car through to get it pulled up. Hopefully we don't see too much wall riding, because we don't want to have drivers just constantly riding the wall. But we could see that as a late break move to get through to the race lead, because if someone's caught on the high side, they just tuck on the line and rub against the wall. You'll see the marks on the walls running through the corners where there's a bit of black stuff on there. That's normally where you rub. that could then be a way for drivers to break through to the race lead. But apart from that, it's going to have to be tuck into the slipstream, hope you get a run. Low line is not going to be your friend tonight. It's going to be mid to high line that's going to be your benefactor to get you to the race lead. So, but qualifying is going to be pretty important, I'd say, and I think it's going to be tough for drivers to actually make overtakes tonight. It's going to come down to your strategy and how well you can stay in this race and how well you can stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I think we've, in our keys to the race, we've already seen who can get close to the wall without getting the damage up there is going to be on for a good result. Of course, the drama and the tension that we're going to have because of the title fight on the line. There goes car 70, Chris Hone over the line at the moment. Cody Pruitt, though, is at the fastest lap at the moment. Trey Jones jumps up to second place, joining him at the moment. Trey grab up to fifth position. Lots of the playoff drivers not with times on the board just yet. Paul Harris is making his way around at the moment. Mike Rinker jumps up to fourth place. Benny Brannan currently in fifth. And Charles Rinker moved up to eighth. Not the greatest qualifying for him, actually. He's the slowest of those who have set times so far, other than Paul Harris now, who jumps into that low spot now himself.
Yeah, Daniel Wing just going to the back of the field with a 36.5. So the crash test dummy of last week, whose namesake this race was named after, has not found any pace compared to the other cars. He's about 3 seconds off that pace at the moment. He's got some work to do here in the end of qualifying if he hopes to move up the order. The top 8 cars have all pulled out of qualifying. They've finished their attempts. Paul Harris has just crossed the line to finish his last attempt now. He has gone slightly better and gone past Charles Rinker. It's ironic, isn't it, Ewan? We said that Charles has got the best chance out of the two of them to win the championship. You know, both of them obviously are the non-winning drivers in that top 6. But Paul has just put the first strike in there and out-qualified Charles.
And it looks like Cody Pruitt is going to have the overall pole, but let's see about that. Nicholas Meadows is not finished the session just yet. Still a minute and a half or so to go, and I think Meadows will be the last one to actually set times here. Zach Smathers moves up to 8th place, so that's a 4th-row start for him. Meadows moves up to 12th place with that first lap time. So now he goes close to the wall. Now we start to see the things you see at Homestead, as you say, running quite close to the wall, but not getting so close as to risk hitting it, because that would, of course, get rid of your lap completely.
Yeah, that's the difficulties in qualifying, obviously, is, riding the wall does make you faster, but as soon as you get a 0x, your time no longer counts. So drivers have got to find the most amount of pace on the track, get comfortable with the track if they want to try and take pole position. It doesn't particularly matter in the race if you're getting 0x's, as Meadows goes to P3, 33.41. Statement made by the 22 car. He's not in the championship fight tonight, but he could be an X factor at the front of the field, similarly to Chris Hone up in P4 at the moment. So it'll be interesting if Nick's going to be a grass or if he's going to be a weed up the top of the field.
It's a good time, though, to be in behind those two playoff drivers. Cody Pruitt definitely needed that, though. He needed to be up towards the front to begin with here, and he certainly is. So he looks like he's taken pole as time actually now does get towards the end and starts to elapse. Meadows just slowing down to a stop as the checkered flag waves, and that is the end of the qualifying session. Cody Pruitt looks like he's taken pole with a 33.1, a few tenths faster than those just in behind. Of course, we'll see the grid when we get to the race session, which will be coming up again in a little bit of time. Another few talking points for this race. I mentioned the stage coming on lap 40. Anticipated fuel window being 30 laps, but I just wonder whether we're going to see the 3 cautions probably required. That means you don't have to stop before the caution, or indeed the stage break, sorry. And indeed whether we're going to see people start to employ that strategy or not.
So I think you can look at it one of two ways. There's 17 cars on circuit tonight, so there's 17 chances we get a caution thrown. But there's also the thought process of, well, it's not a massive pack of cars that we've seen previously this season, where we could see obviously big incidents coming into it, and then that obviously becomes a much bigger issue. I think we can at least see 1 caution in those first 40 laps before the stage break. I don't know if we see 3, Ewan. I don't know if we do. I think it's going to come down to how comfortable are these drivers here, how how able are they to control the tyre wear and keep themselves in check? Perfect opportunity for them is if we go a good 15 laps at the start of the race before the first caution, we see some cars come in, maybe just take some fuel, not take any tyres, and then push forward. But tyre wear is going to be an issue. Is it going to be an issue for 40 laps? I don't know. Time will tell. We've already got a heap of chats out there as well coming into tonight's race. Natasha Merricks is out there with us. Heart to Heart Motorsports as well. Rhiannon's out there saying, do you think Paul Harris enjoys long pig? For those who may be unaware, long pig is a colloquial term in reference to human meat. So I don't know if Paul Harris would enjoy that or not, if I'm honest with you. That's a very deep cut reference to a previous broadcast we've done with Nick Meadows. Oh, not Nick Meadows, with Zach Smathers.
Yeah. Of course, Heart to Heart Motorsports, by the way, one of just wishing a good luck to the drivers. I don't know who the individual behind the account, but we know the company, as it were, or the umbrella for the league. That's the word I'm looking for, Jim. The league, yeah. it's like he's a commentator, but you know I'm the one who sat here commentating, doing nothing else. But anyway, Heart to Heart Motorsports, the league, who will be broadcasting in 3 weeks' time. I believe it starts on Sunday nights, Gen 4 Cup Series. I'm very much looking forward to. I always enjoy Gen 4 Cup racing, actually. So looking forward to that season starting in a few weeks' time. When we get to that here on MotorMouth, so that's to look forward to, as well as the I2I Motorsports Championship as well. This Xfinity Championship drawing to a close, but obviously the announcements that's already been made by Troy Gerber, the Truck Series will start just as this one finishes. So next week we will see the first round of the Truck Series. That comes from Michigan on its same time, by the way, on a Saturday, same time in the day. Michigan is the first race of the season on October 11th. And then we go to Talladega, Texas IRP. I don't know where that is. Sorry, I don't know. But Indianapolis Raceway Park. There you go. Apparently, I've been told to save the rest of it for later. But anyway, it's in the Discord. So I don't know if it's secret. It's posted in the Discord, though. Okay, he's going to come and talk to us about it. So we'll save for that. But yeah, anyway, it's an expanded schedule slightly on what we've got here, and it runs over in towards 2026 as well. So we'll be racing over the course of the winter period with the Truck Series, a slightly extended Truck Series this season. It's worth remembering, of course, we started this in early July. I know we had a big break in the middle, which makes it feel like a very short season, but you know it has been quite a few weeks. It's been a long journey to get to this stage as well, and that is what makes these final days, these championship finale days, feel all the more special, doesn't it? Really, because we've been racing for so long, and it all comes down to this as well. Perfectly, it's all converged as we hoped it would.
Well, you know, not only that, we'll see them. You know, we get to see the championship, you know, fight come together. We get to see drivers preparing and getting themselves prepared in battling their way forward. And, you know, this is, you watch back the whole season, it all becomes narrative based, and it all becomes the point of, you can watch it from start to finish and see how this championship has come together and see who's, you know, come into the title fight. Watch back the moments throughout the season as well, and really just determine, you know, where did drivers maybe go wrong? Where did they go right throughout the season? And you never quite know how it's always going to pan out before the end, do you? And before the final round or before the playoffs, you never quite know who's going to be there throughout that regular season period. So it's quite interesting how it can all play out. And you can obviously put out your ideas of who you think's going to get there, but you never quite know until you get to the very end.
Well, let's have a look then at the starting grid, Freddie, for this final round of the championship in the Crash Testing for Dummies 150 from Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's Cody Pruitt who's on the front ahead of Trey Jones, two playoff drivers on the front row. Nicholas Meadows also a playoff driver, but not involved tonight. Chris Hone alongside him. Mike Rinker and Bailey Brannan then, another all playoff row 3. Trey Grabber and Ryan Simmons on row 4. Zach Smathers, and then Paul Harris rounding out the top 10. Would have hoped for better than that, as would have Charles Rinker, actually, outside the top 10. Daniel Wing starts from 12th position. Robert Stevens Jr., Tyler Murgy, Jesse James, John Roberts, and Caleb Ross will round out the field at the back. 17 in the field tonight. That shouldn't matter too much, but it does give an advantage to the likes of Trey Jones. He's got a slight head start here, and normally we say it's a long race, and so don't worry about being at the back. But for the likes of Charles Rinker and Paul Harris, they've got to get some good stage points here tonight. So they do need to worry about qualifying low down. They need to make some pretty quick progress, you'd have to say, in this early stages of the race.
Yeah, I mean, strategy is going to be key tonight. Keeping your car out of pit lane, as always, is going to be crucial as well, Ewan. If we get a caution in the first 5 laps, how likely do you think it is that we see drivers dive into pit lane for a pit stop? Because that could be a good indication of where we're actually going to end up in this race. Now, we could see some, obviously, at the back of the field roll the dice. They come in, then they get the free positions if drivers have to take green flag stops. How willing do you think they're going to be, though, to roll the dice on the possibility of 2 more cautions to get to the end of the stage without needing to pit?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because I actually think this has got the look of a race that might actually have quite a lot of green flag running in it, but maybe I'll be wrong. It's a real bit of guesswork, to be honest, but that's what makes this series so great. 6 drivers covered by just 11 points going into the final round of a great I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship this season. Welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway in the Crash Testing for Dummies 150. We are green flag on our series finale in this season. And it's going to be an all-playoff driver front row, Cody Pruitt and Trey Jones racing in towards 1 and 2.
Well, as we rocket round towards the start-finish line, Trey Jones leads the way off the race start. Pruitt has dropped down to P2. Rinker up to P3 now, up 2 positions. Meadows and Hone in the top 5. Harris up 4 into P6. Brannon's down 1. Smathers up 1, which has told me, actually, it's not actually Zach Smathers driving that car this week. And apparently, we've had a sneaky changeover, and it is Jesse Ventura driving Zach Smathers' car. According to Zach himself, I got the information. I'm not willing to reveal how I got the information, but I got it nonetheless.
Okay, you make it sound very suspicious. As we
Well,
caution!
he's a very suspicious man. There's the caution. Brannon and Ross.
Wow, and Brannon, is that it for his championship? Has he towed? No, he's just on the exit pit lane. I thought he was.
Towed,
but he does have damage here. Brannon with early damage.
Oh, my God.
Just like he had last week. Big trouble last week at Talladega. He's in trouble again here.
So the issue now for Brannon is he'll come into pit lane, obviously. He'll use his fast repair, but that's it. No more fast repair after this. So he is now going to be on the massive back foot for the whole race. This is how it happened. He just got turned. Was that Caleb Ross that turned him, or Paul Harris?
We'll find out. He was side by side with Harris at one stage. So
I think that was Paul Harris who just turned him. That is going to be... Oh, Zach Smathers is in. He has come into pit lane, and because I think he was caught up in that. Because, he was caught up in that. Yep, Jesse Ventura's head has just gone flying off the front of that car. So Smathers has had to come in, get his car fixed. So Brannon and Smathers now, when they come in, they will be guaranteed to make it to the stage end. Although, actually, no, they won't, because they're not going to have enough space in the tank to actually put enough fuel to get to lap 40.
No, unless there's another couple of cautions, in which case they might. But everybody else will need the same in terms of the amount of cautions that they would need. So, yeah, there's not much of an advantage fuel-wise. Brandon's not been in yet, so
no, he's only just made it. He's only just made it to the pit entry now. So Brandon's in, Roberts is in. The problem now for Brannon is he's got to try and drive a perfect race, but he's also got to try and hope that he stays out of trouble as well. So he is going to have a hell of a lot of work to do. As Jim's just having some technical difficulties at the moment. you could layer my view over the top of your iRacing view, Jim. Okay. It's very rare that these sorts of things happen, of course. I'd like to point out to Jim that he actually doesn't have to shrink his thing down anymore. The iRacing logo is the same size no matter what. I'm going to assume that his PC has updated you and it's screwed up his sound settings.
Apparently not, but yeah, that's we're under time pressure.
Yeah, we are.
See how quickly can we do it? One lap under caution? Have we?
Nah, he'll be able to. All he has to do is select the right speaker, and he's fine.
Well, yeah, but there's about 10 to choose from there.
Yeah, well, try one, see what works. Check whatever one is selected in OBS, Jim. That will then tell you which one you need to select in iRacing.
Anyway, they've got the lights off on the pace car, and we're pretty much ready to go again. Trey Jones will bring them back to the green. It's a very good start from Jones last time round, taking the position off Pruitt.
Brannon has had to come back into pit lane because he entered a closed pit lane, and then I think he's just realised he actually didn't have his fast repair set. So he had to come in, he did a pit stop, did the stop hold, he's back in again, now he's taken the fast repair, and now he's exiting pit road. So he is at the very back of the field. He is 35 seconds off of the next car as we're about to get restarted. You would have thought 3 weeks ago, Ewan, that Brandon was the favourite. Look at how quickly that's now turned around.
Well, exactly. He's not even with the field as they're brought back to green again. A very short opening green flag run, but we're back underway from Homestead-Miami Speedway.
You see Jones just leading them through towards turn one. Pruitt is starting to put that pressure on him. Wants that low line over Jones here. The problem with running that low line is it's going to start to run your tyres down significantly faster than running up in the mid and the high line. I know it's ironic how that can work out, but it's putting a lot more pressure on the tyres, especially because you have to trail brake through these corners. But there's going to be a lot of toing and froing now between Jones and Pruitt, because Pruitt will have the run into the corner, but as they exit, Jones will have the advantage under pace. So they're going to just continuously go side by side, I'd say, Ewan, for the next few laps, because neither of them are going to get the significant advantage unless Jones figures out how to run better pace, although Pruitt has pulled back in, so he's maybe looked like a liar once again. Thanks, Cody. Down the back straight now, though. Big pressure from them, but let's see how long this green flag run's going to be, because I think that incident on lap one wasn't necessarily from drivers overlapping too much or us going side by side for so long and one person obviously makes a slide and makes a mistake. It was just kind of cars were overlapped, and I think the spatial awareness was just a little bit off by whoever spun Bailey Brannon.
Yeah, it was Harris, by the way. We did get confirmation of that. But
I'm sure FYP is going to be filling the chat soon from Bailey Brannon's stands out there.
Again.
I'll type it in the open chat.
You got it? Yeah. Remembered. Yeah, because I remembered he couldn't tell me actually now. If I had forgotten, you wouldn't be able to tell me. Not out loud anyway. So anyway, that will definitely be being said. And there you go. You see in the background there is Harris with Chris Hone and Daniel Wing battling away for 5th position at the moment. It's an interesting start, isn't it, for Harris? I mean, as I say, that is very early to be getting caught up in a crash like that with Brannon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, and I mean, we're only a tenth of the way through this race. There's still plenty of time for drivers to make mistakes or for drivers to get where they need to be. For Harris, though, like for me now, so obviously he's taken out one of the hot favourites for the championship. If Harris doesn't win the title now, that's wasted for me. That's wasted for Paul for that to happen with him. Unless he wins, and he wins in controversial Paul Harris fashion, that was not worth it. That's my opinion on that matter. It wasn't worth taking out Bailey, whether it was spite, whether it was accidental, whatever it may have been. It's not worth it if Paul doesn't win the championship now.
And you could argue it's not worth it anyway. I mean,
No, it's not, and I say that because they're friends.
Right.
obviously, in this scenario, if they weren't friends, then it's not worth it at all because you've just taken out a fellow competitor. But because they are friends, it means that Paul needs to win the title now out of the two of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that. In fairness, I mean, it seems to me, yeah, that's a good job because it's a pretty outrageous thing to do on the front straight on the third lap of a championship race like this.
They may not be friends for very long after that,
Yeah.
and I must say that may put a rift between them.
Yeah. It depends how that's taken. Very much so. I mean, that was pretty brutal, really. But there you go. Trey Jones, anyway, leads the race, and his win at Las Vegas is certainly showing that it's given him some good form here tonight so far. Charles Rinker, his closest rival in the championship, still all the way down in 8th place, although at least he is picking up some stage points at the moment. We are still a long way from that stage, though, still over 25 laps away. And Rinker, meantime, is actually in that group further behind. That's a real lively one with some other playoff drivers involved, but Jones and Pruitt are 1 and 2, and Meadows is looking for 2nd place.
Oh my God, I thought he was going to run right across the nose of Cody Pruitt then. Meadows into P2. Pruitt wants to come straight back at him in that 98 car. And they are battling away hard here for P2. The bigger they battle, though, the worse it's going to get for them because Jones is going to start to run away. So they've got to try and keep him in check. If anyone wants to challenge Jones tonight for the championship, Ewan, you've got to argue that someone else has got to win the stage because that's going to put the pressure on him for the final 60 laps. So it's either that he needs to, strategize poorly and it goes the way of somebody else, or someone's going to try and find some pace as Harris up the inside of Hone in towards turn 3, exit of turn 4. And he has now pushed his way up into P. Well, it was P6, but now he's dropped again because he got caught out in the middle of the pack.
Oh, and he doesn't know which way to go at the moment. They're coming past him left to right, and there's contact in towards turn 1. That was the 7 of Charles Rinker. Just getting into the back of the driver in front. Chris Hone in towards 1 and 2. Smathers takes those couple of bases. He's rocked him through the field, doesn't he? Look at that. 8th position. And Smathers back to pretty much, he's actually ahead of where he started now, even despite making that pit stop. It won't be the pit stop making the difference. It's just that he's working his way through rather nicely as things stand. So
it's the power of the Baja, and that's what is powering Zach Smathers along right now. I know he doesn't, but everyone else may do. We'll explain it to you in post-race, I'm sure. He may find the bliss of not knowing even more hilarious because Zach Smathers' car is not run on horsepower, it's run on Chihuahua power, and he's got 150 Chihuahua power under that hood. I just want to crack up Jim at this point. It feels like, no, they're ferocious. They're ferocious little beasts. I'll tell you that for free. They are ferocious. They are annoying. Oh my God.
Over the line for Smathers, who looks down the inside of Robert Stevens Jr. in towards 7th place.
Well, it's, if we see the back of his car at some point, it makes sense why it says it. And the back of that car, in reference to the Predator film, Zach Smathers ain't got time to lead, just like Jesse Ventura didn't have time to bleed in Predator. So Zach is pushing forward. He is running his best race at this point, although he was caught up in that early contact, has been into pit lane. But we could see if this race could maybe go the way of his here this evening. And if he can, I really want Zach to get a podium this season, just so Ewan can experience the Jesse Ventura experience of Zach Smathers. It's a great time.
I'm pretty sure he's already had one, hasn't he? A podium?
Yeah, he has, but that was before he did the Jesse Ventura impression on stream. He did it a few weeks ago for us when we had to reschedule the broadcast. So shout out to Zach. He's a funny guy. He's a good guy, but he's racing very well at the moment. He's currently in the spot here with Daniel Wing and Jesse James in the battle for P5.
Oh,
obviously, Wing. Oh my God, that nearly got really hairy.
Yeah, I mean, they entered there like they were only 2 wide, and in the end, Smathers the one who benefits from it. Wing and James are still side by side, off to the right, and Robert Stevens Jr. joins them now as well. Chris Hone's there as well, all in that battle for 6th place, a little bit further behind, and towards 3 and 4. There they are, and James gets to the front of it. So that's Stevens and Wing and Stevens rather. Daniel Wing round the outside just pulls his nose in front now on the way towards 1 and 2. And as I mentioned, we were going to get a nicer green flag run. We're already approaching the end of or at least the halfway stage, I should say, of stage one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ewan. Bailey Brannon is a man on a mission right now. He's back up to P14. He's within the backpack, and he is chasing down the man that spun him on lap 2, Paul Harris. So Brannon has got targets and sights set on the next car ahead of him as Charles Rinker comes into pit lane for his first stop of the race. So a green flag stop for Charles. Brannon, he may actually reap a little bit of benefit here off of that early incident here, Ewan, because if he has to come into pit lane again, he's going to be able to take significantly less fuel than the other cars. If he doesn't have to come in again for whatever reason, he's going to gain massively at the end of this because he's going to be able to make the end of the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to start thinking about the stage as if, there isn't going to be another caution between now and then. I just wonder what the best way to get to that is at this stage, and whether anybody who's pitted so far, like Smathers or Brannon or Roberts, has actually done enough here to save the fuel required. Charles Rinker and Caleb Ross definitely have, but they've been in quite recently, and they're now actually 16th, 17th running together. And the lap times do drop off quite severely as well. We're already a second and a half off of the best lap times after only 20 odd laps.
Oh, it's how quickly it can change. Well, you know, we're getting words in the background here that Jim is frustrated the fact that the drivers have actually cleaned up their act this evening and they're not getting too many cautions, so he can fix his sound settings. But that's another issue for another day. Jesse James, though, running hard here and behind Zach Smathers at the moment. Of course, Jesse and Trey Graber running in the same room tonight, so those guys will be talking about a bit of strategy together, I'm sure, and how this is going to play out. I'm interested now for the next, obviously, 15 weeks after this, and not including the Christmas break, Ewan, how these drivers are going to change over to those trucks for the truck series, because they drive fairly differently than the Xfinity cars, and how that transfer is going to work out for them, and who's going to reap those benefits as Tyler Murgy comes into pit lane. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a straight changeover of who's actually the favorite coming from Xfinities into the trucks. I think there may be a couple of drivers out there which will suit the trucks a bit better than they did the Xfinities this season.
Yeah, it's definitely with a different driving style and a different car, there will definitely be different protagonists up towards the front. Although I think to a degree, some of them will stay the same because there's transferable skills. But nevertheless, it will be interesting to see how they all take to it. As Mike Rinker, by the way, comes into pit lane here on lap 25. Worth remembering that this is 75 to go until the end of the race. So these guys will need to pit twice more before the end of the day, stopping at this point in the race. But there are 3 tyre changes, so that's 4 tyre sets across the day. You can split that into quarters. That's exactly what Mike Rinker has done so far. He split this first race into a quarter, and now he's in. And now Jones and Meadows are in from the front as well. We're really starting to see some pit stops, and Zach Smathers is going to lead a lap.
Yep, so Zach Smathers with Jesse Ventura fueling him at the front of his car now leads the way here at Homestead-Miami. Brannon is continuing on. Now, he last pitted on lap 5, so if anyone can possibly make 30 laps or 35 laps after that caution, Brannon may be okay to make it to the end of the stage here. But that's going to be a hell of a test for drivers to do this. Now, you mentioned cut it into quarters, Ewan. Well, we said that they could get 30 laps of fuel. They had 1 caution, so they could probably make it to lap 32 or 33 possibly. So in saying that, if you cut it down into thirds, all of a sudden you only need 3 stops to get to the end, and you pit with 10 laps to go, and you pit where you've got much fresher tyres than the other cars on track, and you could reap those benefits in the run to the checkered flag.
So not too many left now to pit. It's all happened in one big flurry. Only 2 drivers haven't been in at all yet. Jesse James and Robert Stevens Jr. haven't been in at any stage, and that's about to change because James is in, and Robert Stevens Jr. follows as they go behind the palm trees. There goes Robert Stevens Jr. around the outside and actually makes a pass into pit lane. Such is the difficulty getting on here. But now everybody's been in pit lane at least once.
Brannon's in.
Just depends when it was, which is determining this race at the moment.
So the thought process of Brannon, Smathers and Roberts making it to the end of the stage is now null and void because Brannon is into pit lane. So we assume that Smathers will join him at some point. Meadows has come out of this pit stop period in the provisional race lead ahead of Rinker and Trey Jones. I can't see if Jones has taken tyres or not because his pit stop time apparently was 0.23 of a second. So I don't know how the hell that works. Trey Jones, Mike Rinker though did take tyres. Meadows has kept himself his 2 sets still available. So, Trey Jones. The timing on Trey Jones is saying 0.23. Okay, so Trey did take tyres then. So Nick Meadows has bygone taking tyres and has just taken fuel to get track position. Now, that's not going to help him because he's not in the playoff positions, Ewan, but yeah, well, Brannon didn't need to take any tyres either because obviously he was very early on in the race into pit lane, may have mistakenly taken tyres. Smathers took tyres on his first stop. That was a mistake coming into lap 3 as well, Ewan. So John Roberts is now in. It'll be interesting to see when the number 2 car comes through pit lane. And actually, I was wrong. Mike Rinker is now in the race lead as Trey Jones is going to get past Nick Meadows as well. So Mike Rinker, if he finishes where he is going to gain a point on Trey Jones and put a little bit more pressure on him now towards the end of this race, come the end of the end of the stage, and then as they run towards the second stage of 60 laps before the checkered flag.
Yeah, if Rinker gets finishes ahead of Trey Jones wherever they finish, actually in this stage, then they are both in a situation where if they win the race, they win the championship because of the points difference between the two of them. So at the moment, that would be the case for Mike Rinker and Trey Jones. As Zach Smathers comes in, the field will be cleansed, and there'll be 9 laps to go in the stage, or still 10 actually, because Smathers has already crossed the line. But Rinker's got to hold on here. You'd say it would be a big blow to everybody else for Trey Jones to win this stage, especially the likes of Charles Rinker. Although Charles has actually got himself up to 4th place quite impressively, but likes of Bailey Brannon would lose a lot of points if Trey Jones were to win this stage. Although it wouldn't be much better if Mike Rinker wins it. I suppose this is a bad first stage, unfortunately, for Brannon, and he's got to gain some points from somewhere.
Well, Brannon has got to try and chase down P10 and Jesse James, even just to get a single point here in the stage. It will lessen the blow that is Trey Jones and Cody Pruitt beating him and Charles Rinker beating him at this stage as well. The only lifeline that Brannon has now is if we get caution after caution and Trey Jones and Charles Rinker and Mike Rinker are all involved in incidents that cause cautions, because they'll drop in behind him and he's all of a sudden is reaping those benefits. So we might have to do some live maths to figure out the differences in the points. Obviously, it was 11 points separating the front runners. Rinker's about to claim a couple, so we may have to do some points in the background just to try and figure out where everyone stands post the stage. Sorry, just to see where we stand and know exactly where drivers need to finish if they hope to win the championship.
Trey Jones very close to getting up to Mike Rinker, by the way. Brannon with no tyres is going to get passed here by Smathers and maybe some others as well in the next few moments. Those who've taken tyres are going very quickly at the moment. Jesse James just set the fastest lap of his own race last time round and moved up into 8th place. So there's some big differences here. But Rinker's under pressure from Trey Jones at the front of the field here. It's a 1/10 of a second. It's less than that. It's closing again and again and again. Less than a 1/10 of a second between Rinker and Jones. And here it is, the battle for the lead here with 7 to go in stage 1. It was about to be 6. Trey Jones moves down the inside. Points leader. Slide job. Can he get clear? No, he can't. Look at Rinker on the high sides. Just about alongside still. Side by side over the line. But Trey Jones is going to lead a lap and he's going to lead the race again.
Back into the race lead goes Trey Jones. Caleb Ross, by the way, has come back into pit lane. They had a big hit on the wall, though, at that moment through 1 and 2. So Trey he's just tapped the wall. Will that affect the straight line speed now of that number 1 car? Only time will tell. So Ross has come into pit lane. That's promoted Smathers into the top 10. Brannon is now up to P11, but he is dropping time fast by not taking tyres on that stop. He's now back down to P12 after Mergey's gotten past him, but the battle at the front is hot. And Rinker is hot on the heels of Trey Jones, but he's not quite able to hang with him at the moment.
Not just yet. I think Jones has got this stage, to be honest, the way it's going. We're getting towards the stage where a caution would end the stage as well, effectively. Not yet, but we're getting there. These two far clear of the rest, which is encouraging for them for the remainder. But this would extend Jones's advantage over Rinker to 5 points now. And that would be not unassailable by any stretch of the imagination. But it would be a big advantage to Trey Jones at this stage. He would still be in a wins in the title situation, Mike Rinker, because I think he would win on most wins if it was tied. But that's always a long way in the future. The way Trey Jones is going at the moment, who's to say he won't win this race? It's a long way off, but it's looking good for him at the moment. Cody Pruitt's currently in 4th place, the next of the playoff drivers, with some solid points, but he's the one who needed to win here, really. He starts at 6th of the big 6.
Well, he is the best position driver coming into this race out of the 6 contenders, and his best position on the circuit at the moment. He's just about to come past. I think that might have been, that was Trey Graber. He's just coming past now. So he's going to put Trey a lap down. Trey will get the lucky dog when we get to the stage end, unless Ryan Simmons gets passed by Trey Jones as well. But, you know, Trey right now is handling the pressure so well. I mean, it's a pressure pot of what is Homestead-Miami, Ewan. It's been turned into a pressure pot tonight. And realistically speaking, I mean, if you want to talk about Brannon, he hasn't cracked under pressure. He was just in an unlucky place at an unlucky time very, very early in the race. And he needs to try and use the next 60 laps to his advantage. Ideally, Brannon needs cautions, Ewan. He needs multiple cautions for him to make up spots, because it will keep the pack close and it will keep him within the hunt. If this race goes green to the end, Brannon is completely screwed of trying to win this championship.
It's not looking good at the moment.
No.
There's a long way to go as he receives the last lap in stage number 1. Does Trey Jones? Lap 40. What a great green flag run this has been, by the way, from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Great to get some green flag racing here in the stage. And Trey Jones has utilised it absolutely perfectly to get himself out front and win this stage. Take the full 10 points to go with it as well. What a fantastic performance it's been from Trey Jones. Out of 3 and 4. And in the crash testing for dummies 150, Trey Jones is going to take a nice handful of points at the stage. And he wins stage 1 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway, taking the full 10 points, extending his championship lead. Mike Rinker will go now to 5 points behind. Pruitt actually loses a place on the last lap there by the looks of things and drops to 5th position. So he loses 4 points and is now 15 behind as the caution now flies. It's Trey Jones who will be happiest out of the lot after that, I would imagine.
Well, it's 10 points gained, and it's points gained over other drivers throughout the field. He's gained 1 point over Mike Rinker. He has gained 4 points over Cody Pruitt. He's gained 9 points over Charles, although Charles Rinker's just gotten past Nick Meadows, actually, so maybe it's 8 points over Charles Rinker. He's gained 10 points over Bailey Brannon and Paul Harris. For my money, Ewan, I think Brannon's championship may be over.
I'll just, I mean, 14 points. It's not looking good, is it? At this,
no, he'll need
stage.
Trey to finish at the back of the field for that to really, or at least outside the top 10.
Yeah, if for Paul Harris, he does need him to finish right at the back. Mathematically, actually, needs him to finish 17th. So he needs a lot to go his way as the first caution lap comes to an end. The guys will be all coming down pit lane here, you'd imagine. But how many are going to take tyres? And indeed, I say that so affirmatively. I wonder how many are going to be all coming down pit lane here. It's going to be a choice.
I think if you're Brannon, you come in and you take tyres. He's got to come in now, because he was giving up so much time to the other cars that he needs to come in and take a fresh set. He is coming in now. It wasn't worth him staying out to take track position, because everyone was going to be behind him and everyone was going to be on possibly fresh rubber and able to chase him down for the next portion of this race, knowing that if he had to take a green flag stop, he'd be cooked. So Brannon's trying to keep his championship alive as best he can. He's had to come into pit lane. We'll see how well this plays out for him. Trey Jones exits. No tyres on that car. Rinker, Wing, didn't take tyres. Pruitt has taken tyres. Smathers without tyres. Meadows with tyres. Sorry, Chris Hone without. So there's a couple of cars who are taking rubber and a couple who aren't. Brannon is taking 4 tyres. 4 tyres onto Brannon's car, I believe, because it was a 17.5 second stop for Bailey Brannon. So he's got fresh rubber on that car. Only a handful of cars took fresh rubber with him here, Ewan. So there may be a couple of drivers who didn't, who could end up in a worse position than what they currently stand.
Yeah, considering Brannon didn't take any tyres at the stage, inside the stage, at the end it does seem to make sense. And he could well really gain, actually, on a lot of guys who haven't taken any, as you say, 2 at most for all of the top 7. So, yeah, that's all very positive. I don't know if Jim's okay at the moment. No, he's not. I don't know. Can't get the sound to come back on, but anyway, it's hardly the most the car noise. Yeah. It's, we can see what's happening, so it's fine. Well, and we'll come back to green in a moment. Anyway, so lap 44 will come to an end, and there'll be 55 left, 56 left rather.
Very good. Yeah, there is. There's, caution currently underway. Sorry, we've gone off the rails here in the final round. We've got the sound back. We've got ourselves prepared to run forward. And we've got a championship fight on our hands. John Roberts leads the way. Murgy P2, Jones, Rinker, Wing, Smathers, Hone, Stevens Jr., Simmons and Meadows, the 10 as green flag is thrown, but Murgy and Roberts get tight together and have a little bit of contact across the start-finish line. Neither of them pitted under the stage break. Murgy is on old tyres, Ewan. He last came in on lap 23. Watch him get absolutely buried in the field. Jones came in on 29. He's going to get buried too as they get close together down the backstretch.
The free of Mike Rinker's going to, get to the outside, but Jones gets to the outside of him. Trey Jones in the wall again. Not the first time we've said that tonight. Roberts is going to get out of 4 with the lead still, but look at the field behind him. Rinker with a huge save in the 3 car. Got really loose there off of 4, and now he's back in the middle of the pack again.
Well, Jones is still riding that wall on the high side. He's got to be careful, because the more he does that, the more risk he puts on damaging the car as Nick Meadows has to go low onto the infield. Daniel Wing at the front there, we can see. Yeah, did he jump the start? No, he didn't. Meadows is back out. Roberts is in. That's a massive mistake. He's going to go a lap down. He should have come in under the stage break.
I think, by the way, there wasn't contact between Roberts and Murgy. I think he just stepped on the throttle way too hard and spun up the rear tyres to go to the inside. So he has to drive through Roberts, and it's going to set him a long, long way back. But Daniel Wing leads ahead of Trey Jones. Benny Brannon, though, is leading those who are on new tyres, and you can really see it as well. He's caught behind Trey Jones. That's why maybe you can't actually see it. He's probably boxed in here, but he's going to get out front. If this goes green long enough, Brannon's going to be leading this race very soon, but it depends whether we stay green long enough. 3 wide there with Harris and Hone on the inside. Paul Harris also another one coming through, by the way.
Oh, Hone looks like he wants to make it 4 wide. Brannon's going to come through though on the exit of turn 2. Brannon up to P2 on the road. And the best thing that can happen for Bailey Brannon now is long green flag running, because the longer that this goes on, the worse it gets for Trey Jones, because those tyres are screaming and he is going to get absolutely buried in the field as contact's made. Further back, and one round goes in 69 and Trey Jones is off the track. Yellow flag, championship leader off the road. And how quickly it can flip on its head, Ewan, because we were saying this about Brannon on lap 1, and now here on lap 49, it's happened to Trey Jones.
Well, we always say it's not over until it's over, and Trey Jones is spun around at the back of the pack. He will be able to get a new car and a new set of tyres, and he's the one who makes the contact with 69 at the end of it all as well. Car 2's involved, Zach Smathers, and 69 as well, obviously, is Robert Stevens Jr. Those are the ones who will have damage, but it won't be too bad, and they will get it repaired. Jones is, going to be down in the back of the pack, but it's not going to be the end of his race by any means. He's going to get that repaired, and he's going to be back again, but it's the sort of nerves it gives him for the rest of the race I'd be more worried about, to be honest, because he doesn't have that. He can't do that fast repair again after this.
He can't. And Smathers, who would have already used his fast repair, that might be his race done. He's in the pit lane now. We're under caution. Well, do we want to have a quick chat to him? To Smathers. Okay. So we'll wait. We'll wait to have a chat. Oh, Jim. Rounded in the chat. I bet now the audio speaks, they will start getting more cautions. It'll be the way. Brannon's in, Rinker's in, Hone's in, Jones, Rinker, Murgy, Stevens Jr., Trey Jones, and John Roberts all in.
I am now live on mic just to say that's why I love you right there.
What a joke.
I know, that's perfect, right? So my thing is Trey Jones here, is he going to use his fast repair?
He'll have to, surely, because that car's going to be caught.
Maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. If the repair's not that long, then it might be... Well, no, he has just used it there. You can just see it pop straight on. So I think he did use it. But yeah, if it wasn't that long and it was like, a minute's worth of repairs, it's worth doing properly. Because, keep the fast repair for something bigger if it happens later.
Exactly. Well, so what he could have done was come in without it ticked, see how long the optionals are or the required, and as they start to work on it, you click the fast repair if it's over 1 minute long, and it would then initiate the fast repair. So, but he's used it straight away.
Yeah, he used
Brannon's come in to get fuel benefits. Jones has obviously taken tyres, so now it's an equal game on tyres between Brannon and Jones here. So it's back on.
And just to clarify, since I am back in, I'm actually on the broadcast now. So now we've got Brannon and Jones, both of which have used their fast repair at this point.
Yep. And if either of them get taken out from this point on,
it's over.
That's championship done. It's over. So they are now on the knife's edge here, Ewan, in terms of keeping their pressure amongst themselves. And trying to keep themselves in check is going to be a massive test for them.
Yeah, and we saw that incident there with Smathers. Actually, didn't look like there was very much damage, but actually he's just spent 2 minutes in pit lane repairing that. So, because he doesn't have a fast repair, so it may not have to look like a very big crash, but it may well still give you quite some repairs. Caleb Ross, by the way, is out of the race, and unfortunately for Paul Harris, that puts him out of championship contention. He can only gain 19 points on Trey Jones now because. The worst you can finish is 16th, and that would only get him tied with Jones. I'm presuming Jones's race wins.
What if Jones got a points penalty, Ewan, for the contact with the 69 car?
Well, if we start worrying about what might happen penalties-wise, we'll really start to fry our brains.
We'd have to bring Jesse Ventura in here for the conspiracy theories on that one.
Or maybe if Zach ends up in the wall again and back in pit lane, we'll see what conspiracy he can stir up for us. But Daniel Wing, though, Paul Harris looked to start this race, and we know how controversial Daniel's race was last week. We'll see how well he does, though, starting from the front of the field as they enter the restart zone.
And better restarts this time from the leader, Daniel Wing, of course, on fresher tyres this time round, which definitely helps that. But watch out for the likes of Harris and Simmons and Meadows here on the restart once again. And indeed, those guys who just pitted again, and they'll be on the fresher tyres at this stage. Only 3 tyre changes, though. Got to be careful with them and use them wisely while you can. Little bit of contact with the wall and a big weave around from Simmons, I think that is. Yeah, it is. That's indeed. Meadows. And Meadows goes down to his inside. Brannon looking for a way through as well from 5th. 4 wide in the background. Trey Jones flying through immediately. Look at that.
Yeah, Jones is on those fresh tyres and he's starting to run his way through the field. He's now tucked right up behind Bailey Brannon. But Brannon needs Jones to end up at the back of the field now. He needs Jones to finish within the bottom outside, I think probably the top 12 Ewan would be the appropriate guess for how many points he's now behind him. Of course, he lost 10 in the stage, so that gap has now grown to 15 points. So he needs to beat him by 15 points worth of positions, or start to get himself some bonus points, like leading a lap. And that's not even taking into consideration bonus points, actually, of the fact that Jones has also got an extra point for leading a lap here tonight as well. So he's going to have some work to do, is Brandon, to win the championship, and I think there's going to have to be some quick maths from Trey Graber post-race to figure out who indeed will win the championship tonight. Based on how close it is! That there was Trey Jones again, and he's wrong! Oh! And that there is championship done for Trey Jones. That is it.
Oh my goodness, he's going to have to really do something to revive it from here. There's still 16 in the race, so Jones has got to be very, very worried about what this means. He is badly damaged. He's got left rear suspension damage that is really out of shape. You can see that very obviously. He's been up on his roof, for goodness sake. It's no surprise. There it is. I don't know if that's it. Oh, he gets absolutely smashed there at the very end.
Charles Rinker. That was Charles Rinker who made contact with him. And this now is why he should have looked to see how many optionals he had on that last stop, Ewan, because he's used that fast repair. This will be more than 2 minutes. This will be a good 5 to 10 minutes of repairs on that car. Yeah. That championship is done. He is out, and it's now down to 4.
Yeah.
Although Charles Rinker's in pit lane as well. Luckily, he had a fast repair available, but it's down to Charles Rinker, Mike Rinker, Bailey Brannan, and Cody Pruitt. Those are the only drivers now who can mathematically win this race, because Trey Jones is out. He's going to be in pit lane for a long, long time.
I'm not willing to say Jones is definitely out yet.
Well,
I mean, he's in pit lane for a long
I'll tell you
time.
what. Let's do this. Let's be edgy right here. This may not go well, but I'm gonna make the call. Let's pull Trey Jones in while he's sitting there and ask him how long his repair is. No, seriously, come on.
He's not is he in a voice channel? Because I can't see him.
Oh, maybe not.
He's seen that coming from a mile away.
He did.
And
He did see that. He probably did see that coming a mile away.
I don't want to be in a voice chat. I'm going to get dragged around.
Yeah.
Well, we'll track out. If he goes 2 laps down, I'd say it's done. If he goes 2 laps down.
I think, there's 40 laps left in this race. What you got to think about here, the problem is going to be if he goes like 20 laps down or something. Because the thing I'm seeing here is we go green again and somebody
if we get quick cautions,
gets walloped.
Yeah.
And, and they are out. Trey Jones comes back out again after 10 minutes or so. He can sweep up some points. And, this is going to come down to 1 or 2 points. He might need the place for 14th or whatever it is by doing enough laps. So I'm not willing to say he's out
What
yet,
he needs to do is he needs to not go more than a lap down. He needs to come out, go back around, stay within touch of these guys, and work it through a few pit stops.
Okay. Trey is in here now. Trey, how long are your repairs?
So I got about 9 minutes. I got 7:45 left.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's going to be my race done.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man. How long? Do you know how long your repairs were going to be on the last stop when you used your fast repair?
They'd have been like 2 minutes.
Yeah, we were speculating. We were speculating whether you were not going to use it and try to, do it the old-fashioned way and save the fast repair. And obviously now, in hindsight, you would have, but you can't.
I would have in hindsight.
Well, that's a bummer, man. I hate to see that for you. Tough luck.
Yeah, it would have been a really good night.
Well, battle as hard as you can. Fight for every point. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, we're gonna wait out for these repairs, and we'll see what we can do from there.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us at a time like this too. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. Really appreciate it. So.
Thank you.
Well, you can hear the dishevelment in his voice.
Sure. Yeah, good on him.
We're getting ready for the restart now. So Brannan and Meadows at the front of the field, Ewan, and right now it's probably Mike Rinker's championship to win at this point.
His to lose, even. Yeah,
his to lose.
You've got to remember that he has a pretty big gap over the rest of the field as well coming in here. So we'll talk through all the permutations in a second after we've been through the Hawks Automotive restart zone, and we're back underway again with Meadows leading the field. Brannon really has to win here, to be honest, and he might well start by moving to the inside into 1 and 2 on Nicholas Meadows, who leads the field back to green, lap 59 of this race, and Brannon is indeed going to go low, try and get that run off of 2 and a run down the inside. Not just yet. Behind James and Rinker are side by side. Rinker has just got to keep himself out of trouble based on what we've seen so far tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rinker's got to try and stay out of trouble, but if he catches trouble, it's going to really reset now for Bailey Brannon and put him back into a solid position here. Brannon side by side with Meadows, though, across the line, right on board with Nick as they enter turn 1. There you see Brannon on the inside line as they continue to battle away. Jesse James wants to get up on them as well. They're nearly 3 wide on the exit onto the back stretch. Jones backs out of it. Oh, sorry, James backs out of it. And now Brannon and Meadows battle away for the race lead. Rinker in behind them, Pruitt as well. Stevens Jr., Murgy, Simmons, Rinker and Hone is the top 10. But there's plenty of racing still left to be ran with 40 laps to go of Homestead.
This is exactly the same size as the first stage here tonight. And we've got exactly that remaining in the I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship this season. At the moment, Mike Rinker is in championship position. By the way, to get points clear of Trey Jones if he finishes in 16th, Rinker still needs a top 10. So that's not the easiest thing in the world when we've got 15 still on the lead lap at the moment. But this green flag run couldn't have been timed much worse for Trey Jones. If we're expecting him to be in for another 5 minutes, he'll lose 10 laps if it stays green like this. If we were under caution, he'd only lose 4 or 5.
Yeah, there wouldn't be many more to lose now for Trey Jones, but God, he has got some work to do, Ewan. He is going to have some work to do in this race, but for Meadows and James and Brannon, they're fighting away. Pruitt wants to try and fight his way forward as well and just continue the fight for this championship. I'm just quickly trying to do some very quick and crude maths to figure out where Brannon
would need to gain at the moment 10 points on Rinker.
Brannon,
he's currently 9 behind.
Yep. So Brannon so Jones needs to finish inside of the top 13 to win the championship over Bailey, and that's if Bailey Brannon wins the race. He's 9 points behind Mike Rinker, so he needs Rinker to finish 7th or below if Brannon were to win the race. So it's going to be tough for that to happen for Brannon, but anything can happen. They're the only 2 drivers who are ahead of him on points who are still within the fight at the front of this field. Charles Rinker, who's a lot further back. Brannon's in a pretty safe position comparatively to him, but he's got to try and hope and pray that something goes his way now, because he caught so much bad luck at the start of this race. His race has been on the back foot the whole time. You'd have to argue, with only obviously roughly 37 laps to go, nearly 36 laps to go, if Brannon ends up back up in pit lane with more issues of incidents and needing to fix that car, we'll be putting a line through his name as well.
And Jesse James, the outlaw here, taking the lead. He's having a good run here at the end of the season. Running that old school Terry Labonte Kellogg's Cornflakes livery. I like it. Yeah, what a nice showing from him tonight. That's good. Good run.
He's up 14 at the moment, 14 positions into P1. That's a great effort there from Jesse.
Yeah.
That 90s retro, by the way. I don't remember.
Yeah, it is.
Terry
90s.
Labonte would have been Terry Labonte would have been
that
the
livery.
80s. That would have been 80s. But that
There's
car was run by Terry Labonte, and then also Kyle Busch ran that same livery somewhere in the mid to late 90s, right at the early part of his career when he was with Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, because they had the yellow variant from 1998 with the 5 on the side of the car. I know this because I have the complete set of 1998 NASCAR Hot Wheels.
This is just this was a special, like, one-off livery, I think, or something. But just in general, that number 5 Kellogg's car, that was Terry Labonte, and Kyle Busch ran that as well. But Kyle Busch ran, as did Labonte, ran all the Kellogg cereals, Sugar Pops and Frosted Flakes and whatnot.
Tricks it for kids, Jim.
Yeah, but that's not a Kellogg cereal, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it is. I just wanted to say tricks it for kids, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I still
Oh,
eat
he's doing a
kids.
good job
I
at the
still eat
moment.
kids cereal.
I mean,
So
who's
Trey
stopping
Jones has just left pit lane and is 11 laps down
Come on,
on the
bring it.
race leaders.
you? You see my point? Like Smathers is already in, so he's got a chance of overtaking him if Smathers parks it from here. 11 laps down means that anytime anyone goes off in the next 22 laps and don't come back out again, he can overtake them, and the chances of that are so high. That's like a fifth of
He's
the
back
race.
in again. He's back in the race again. So I think he's
So you
actually
just
had
do the-
optionals, and he's come out to see
Yes.
if the optionals are worth it. And the car probably
he's-
feels a bit poorly at the moment, so he's probably coming back in just to finish the optionals.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, that's probably should have done that all in one go. To be honest, I could have told him that the optionals would have been worth it, but anyway.
Well, you never know,
that's,
but you know,
never know.
in
It's not-
hindsight, what a horrible, I'm sure he's kicking himself for using that faster pair when he could have.
yeah, but
I know. No, I get it. Believe me, I
it's-
fully understand. I get it.
it's definite hindsight, isn't it?
But
Because
the
at the
thought
time
process
we
as
said
well-
a minute or less. We saw a minute.
Yeah.
We said a minute or less, and you should do it the old-fashioned way. But at 2 minutes, you're willingly losing a lap there when you don't have to.
Not
and you can
just
use the faster
that.
No,
pair.
not necessarily.
Not
though.
just
Not
that.
necessarily.
If he had taken the repairs and not taken the fast repair, he necessarily wouldn't have been in the same position he was in for taking the fast repair, and may not have then actually had contact.
That's
so he
true.
would have put himself a lap down with the fast repair in hand, but not needing it for this
But
incident.
the thing is, you don't necessarily have to go a lap down on 2 minutes worth of repairs. You pit, you leave at the last second before the pace car catches you, and you zip around the track, and you come back in, and you get another 30 seconds or so. Then you join the
That's
field.
only if they're optionals, though. If they're requireds, then you can't
true.
move. You have
Well,
to wait
then
for
you
the
go
car
a
to be
lap down.
fixed.
Then you go one lap down. That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
still
all
think
hindsight. It's
we're-
speculation
Yeah,
now,
we
but-
are definitely hindsighting here, definitely.
And there's no
you know.
the simple fact is he's 11 plus laps down, and all the speculation in the world is not going to change that at this point.
No,
And,
there's-
looking
there-
more and more unlikely that he's going to be able to make up the laps that is required, because this, as I mentioned earlier, this is possibly the worst timing for a green flag run in history as far as he's concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I mentioned earlier, if they were running under caution, not least would there be other people crashing for him to overtake later, but also they'd be going slower and putting him less laps down. He's back out again now, 14 down, so he's got to see more people crash in the next 15 laps. Otherwise, it's completely out of his hands at this stage, and he's got to be hoping for Mike Rinker to crash and other people like that.
Yeah, I mean,
The
at this
main
point,
the
though,
main one he needs is Rinker. That's the main one he needs to crash. He can't, Brannon. There's at least some leeway there, but for Rinker, as Meadows comes into pit lane, for Rinker, he needs Rinker to crash. But Brannon also needs Rinker to crash as well, because he needs him to drop outside of the top 7. But Brannon would still need to go on to win the race in that scenario. So he needs to beat Rinker by 6 positions. So he needs Rinker at the back end of the top 10 right now. And with Charles back there, I don't know if Charles is going to give up I don't know if Charles will defend the spot or not to give his brother the win.
you
I
don't?
think Charles would help. Mike,
Yeah,
if
I'm
possible.
sure he would help. They had no doubt.
Yeah.
You never know.
Pruitt's
No,
in, by the way.
he's-
Getting to the
he
stage,
He slowed up.
we're all,
He slowed up last week and risked losing the draft at Talladega to suck his brother back up to the pack. Uh-oh.
yeah,
True.
they'd definitely be doing that. We are going to. We're drifting along by here, by the way. We're going to see pit stops very, very soon, because they're getting towards the end of fuel. Quite apart from anything else, they'll want some new tyres as well. So 27 to go. Cody Pruitt's going to kick this off, but as soon as one comes down, they all want to be in. And Meadows has actually started this off really, although he's gone a lap down. Everybody will. So Pruitt is in now as well. Chris Hone is still battling away actually with Charles Rinker and the rest of them back there. So yeah, we will see pit stops very, very soon. This could be the last ones of the season.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd argue they probably are going to be. I mean, we're within 30 laps to the end. They can make it to the end of the race from here. It's how long do you go? Brannon and Co, who pitted on lap 50, they can go all the way to lap 80. Wing could go all the way to lap 87. There's a couple of more in the middle of the 80s who can go that long as well. So there's we're still going to need one more for a lot of drivers. Those who are pitting now, the risk they're putting onto themselves is they may burn out the tyres a lot quicker than the other drivers who are staying out there for this little bit longer. So Mike Rinker into pit lane now. and having to take a green flag stop. If there's a caution thrown, this could kill Mike Rinker's race. That's the only...
Certainly would hurt him.
You know, it would hurt him significantly. It would help Brannon because he could take a pit stop for free and come into pit road. But, how long does Brannon go for? He's got about 6 more laps left on the fuel tank.
I'm not going to lie to you. Bailey has not looked like he was in championship winning form tonight. All year long, he's been the fastest car on the track most of the nights, and he just has not had that edge tonight. He didn't qualify. He didn't qualify up there.
To be fair to Bailey, he was quite disheveled after last week at Talladega, and he was very likely very disheveled after the incident on lap 2. So he's really been put into the back seat in terms of his momentum has been completely stopped compared to where it was at one point in the championship. I mean, that's the guy who won 3 races in the season.
Didn't he only actually win 2, though? I think there was a correction on that. I believe he only won 2. It was in
on the standings. It says 3.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It's
wrong.
Know.
He won 2.
Trey messaged us about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's he tagged me. Sorry, not everybody. So
I saw it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure where that's come from because it does add up to 10. So I'm not sure who's missing a race in that case. But anyway, that's all very confusing.
Probably the person who was disqualified.
Yes.
I would argue.
Yes. We've had 2 people that left the league.
That's true, yeah. So that's the one that's missing, yeah.
Brannon is in.
Brannon comes in now from second place. So Daniel Wing's leading this race, and it looks like he's just going to go on for as long as he can, actually. And he's only done 21 laps, so he might just carry on. But into the pit lane for Bailey Brannon, and this is an important stop. He didn't catch that caution like what he needed to.
No, he did not. And it's entirely possible the way they're spread out now with these pit stops that short of somebody having an on or off pit road incident, when you're trying to slow it up or something, it's entirely possible we go all the way to the end right here, green.
That's the sense I'm getting. It doesn't. We're not getting the feeling off this race, Hugh, in that we're going to get cautions towards the end of this one. It feels like this is going to be a green flag run to the end.
Yeah, all it takes is one, and then suddenly a snowball. So you just can't tell. I agree. It does feel like that at the moment, but you just can't tell what it's going to feel like in 5 laps' time. Very, very difficult to know. We're now in the stage, getting very close to the stage now, where Trey Jones won't be able to make up enough places what he needs, and again, we'll be relying on other people. We're probably already in that situation now. Charles Winker's continuing on. He's probably going to go as far as he can as well. These guys who are continuing pitted under one of the cautions after the stage, around lap 55, 56, 57, somewhere around there. So they are able to go a little bit further, but it won't be too much longer until we see these guys coming in, that's for sure. And the final stops of the season be complete, that run to the end. Final 20 laps coming up now. Not long remaining at all to decide the champion. At the moment, it is still Mike Rinker's to lose. He is still the leader of those who have pitted under green in the last few laps.
So once we hit lap 87, Trey Jones is considered no longer in the championship fight because he is 14 laps down on the race leader, and he cannot possibly then get past anyone who is within his championship hunt, and he cannot possibly make it up to P13. So he's got 5 laps of still, quote-unquote, being in contention. Once we get to lap 87, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
As Daniel Wing is in the pit lane. It's for Trey. I mean, it's a disheveled situation. It's a disappointing situation. Of course, he was one of the championship favourites. He was the leader of the championship coming into this race. It's a tough go for him, but that's racing as well. At the end of the day, and it's a shame for him. But how this has worked out is it's worked out in the favour of Mike Rinker. Has Mike been the strongest driver all season? Well, I don't know. I'd claim that Bailey and Trey were probably the stronger drivers across the whole season. But Mike has definitely been up there, and he's been within the championship fight for a reason because he is one of the better drivers in the field.
Yeah, look, no doubt about it. I mean, there was plenty of races where Mike was, running up front, but he's been pretty consistent. He's had a couple of bad races.
That's what wins you a title, Jim, is consistency.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter
absolutely.
how many race wins you have. It's oftentimes, especially in sim racing, often at times it's the most consistent driver that goes on to win the championship. It's not actually the person who necessarily wins the most races. Now, obviously, if you've won the most races and you've been consistent in that fact of winning maybe, 7 out of 10, as caution's thrown, it's Daniel Wing. Daniel Wing has been involved in an incident on the start-finish straight. And
for the second week in a row, Mike Rinker sees a late caution he really didn't want to.
No, that's right. That's right.
Wing.
Oh, my God. Did he just get driven straight through?
No, he didn't. I don't think he even got hit. If he did, it was a light touch. No, he was. He lost it just coming off there.
So, late break caution, lap 85. If you're Brannon, if you're Rinker, do you come in for tires?
If I'm Brandon and I've got tires with 15 laps to go, I'll probably come in and get them, because what are you going to lose?
I'm not sure everybody has tires though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I've not been counting, but
I mean that's going to be
the last ones.
Brannon, I think, has only been taking right sides.
Well, but
so I think he will still have a few left.
No, that's still 3 sets of tires. You don't get the right sides are separate from the left sides. So if you burn
but
up
you can swap them.
No, you can't. You cannot.
Yes, you can.
No, you absolutely cannot. 100%. I promise you cannot.
Oh, God. This is never going to end, is it?
No, I promise you can't. I got corrected on that, and I looked it up, and it was right, because early in the season.
I was going to say, you definitely did tell me you could one
you
day.
did. I did. You're absolutely right. I'm owning up to it. I was corrected, and I went and looked it up, and it was wrong. So yes,
you sound like a politician making an apology.
I swear, Jim, I've seen drivers take 3 sets of right sides in a race where they only had 2 sets available.
I can't answer to that. I can only tell you that
when we head back to live though, we'll see the field has just now caught the pace car as well.
He hasn't come in anyway, so I guess we don't need to worry about it. Cody Pruitt, Ryan Simmons, Nicholas Meadows, Trey Graber, Dax Mavericks, the only ones into pit lane so far. So nothing too major from the top guys.
So to be fair, Trey Graber is the one who told me that it was incorrect, and he told me that was wrong, and that's when I went and did some checking. So in all fairness, it was Trey Graber that pointed out to me that it was wrong, and it was because the clown that got kicked out of the league was criticizing us for saying that, and Trey pointed out to me that in that particular case we were wrong.
Okay, well, if you're Brannon, then do you come in and take left sides?
Nah.
Hope for a bit of extra inside grip.
No, at this point, no. I'm right behind the guy I need to be that I'm racing.
That's true. But he needs Rinker to drop down to P7.
At this point, all you can do is race Rinker hard and clean and hope you make a mistake. That's all you can do. You just got to race him hard. You got to put your car in a spot that's going to make him possibly make a mistake without doing anything dirty and hit him. You can, as long as you race him clean, you push him.
Yeah.
If you get underneath him and make him, you know what I mean? Like you get on top of him and hold him down on the bottom and see if he's going to make a mistake and spin the car or something like that. That's all you can do, though, at this point. If you're Bailey Brannon, you just got to race him hard but clean, because if you get dirty and you hit him, then that's going to, that'll change everything. But
okay, so just to confirm as well, we're now on lap 87. Trey Jones is out of the championship fight. That is him done.
Yeah.
So we have now got 4 left. Mike Rinker, Bailey Brannon, Cody Pruitt, and Charles Rinker are the only drivers who could mathematically win the championship now with 14 laps to go in this race. It'll be 13 to go when we cross the line and get this one restarted.
Yeah, and even if Bailey Brannon wins, Mike Rinker just needs a top 5 and he will be the champion of this season. So it is between the front 2 really as well, even if you want to knock it down even further than that. It's going to be Mike Rinker who restarts from the front this time though in the Hawks Automotive restart zone. Brannon goes as far away from him as possible, and I'm not sure that really worked. 12 to go, as they cross the start-finish line, and Mike Rinker takes the lead. Now he's got to either try keep Brannon behind or accept that Brannon's going to pass you and just follow him all the way home.
Well,
we'll see how this is going to play out.
Because
Jesse James could possibly smell a win here because he is on fire at the moment, Jim.
He is. I think if I'm Rinker, I'm letting Bailey by. I'm gonna let him by, and I'm gonna come home in second or third, and I'm gonna just find me a nice big clear space on the racetrack. And he hadn't exactly. And
I thought he was, but no, he is racing him properly.
Yeah,
up towards the wall. I thought he was just pulling high and out the way, but no, he is racing him properly here as they hit 12 to go. Over the...
Oh, there you go.
Oh, dear, he's in the wall as well. This is where it gets dangerous. Oh, crash in the back. Whoa, they get away with it.
They're going to be green. I think it's going to stay green unless they lose it.
It is. It is
That
staying
was his
green.
brother,
Charles
too.
Rinker.
That was Charles, yeah.
He's copped massive damage. Jesse James has now trying to get past Mike Rinker at the front here as he ride on board with Bailey Brannan across the line. 11 laps to go of Homestead. 11 laps to go of the Xfinity Championship. Rinker is in pit lane. And that Charles Rinker, to confirm, is in pit lane. That there is probably it done for Charles with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, you'd have to say
Jesse's
so.
getting
James
loose up there.
very, very loose. And Mike Rinker's going to come through on the outside. This is where it gets dangerous for Mike, but there are some seconds back to those who he needs to stay in front of. 10 to go here. Those are the chases he needs to stay in front of here. Third is enough.
A third is enough for Mike Rinker.
Yep.
The problem now is that if there's a caution thrown, he's going to have them right on his heels.
Yes.
And they're going to be breathing down his neck. So he needs this race to stay green. Oh, John Roberts has just had an incident further back. Sorry, it has not brought out the caution, although he was stopped on the oval portion, actually. So it's quite weird. But he was the only one to have the incident. And he's off the track now.
Again, if I'm, I think he's doing the right thing here. Just setting back there in third place and just kind of letting it happen around him. I'd stay close to Jesse James. That way you can still draft off of him and still keep really fast lap times up. But I don't think I'd be running up on the high side of anybody right now with a chance that they could get loose and slide up into me and take me out.
Oh, Cody Pruitt is chasing him down at a rate of knots at the moment. Rinker in P3 and Pruitt is on the prowl.
It's just
chasing down.
Don't forget, Pruitt is on newer tyres as well with those latest pit stops and the caution. So Pruitt could make it even more nerve-wracking now for Mike Rinker. To the inside, Rinker tried to shut the door, but he doesn't have the grip to do that. And Cody Pruitt goes through. Rinker down to fourth.
And here comes...
And now Stevens Jr. is chasing him down as well. The car that had initial contact with Trey Jones earlier, which then led Jones taking the fast repair.
Man. He slowed
down. He might have.
Let's go on board.
Because he is dropping positions every single lap. And wheel looks okay.
Well, let's see. It's hard to tell in NASCAR, too, because some of these guys run their wheels offset, So it's not as easy to tell. The wheel is not straight, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't like it like that. No. You know what I mean? So, but it's not straight.
I think more it's down to the tyres. Pruitt's on fresher tyres. I think Pruitt's going to win, actually. But maybe I'm going a bit early with that. 1.1 seconds with only 6 to go might be a big ask on Bailey Brannan. But Brannan has to win this race. He has to keep James and Pruitt behind, otherwise he's got no chance here. Don't forget, the gap between first and second in points is 5 points. That's why it's so massive, because at that stage you're asking Rinker to drop outside the top 10, which is way less likely.
Yeah. Well, so if Rinker finishes 5th and Brannan wins, who wins the championship?
Rinker. Yeah.
So Rinker has to finish 6th to lose the championship.
If it's 6th, it's a tie. At which stage I think Brannan would win the count back on race wins, because I think he would have 3 to Rinker's 2.
No, I thought we clarified that Brannan only has 2 as well.
No, but he'd have 3 if he wins this race as well.
Oh, that's true. Yes, you're right. That's a good one. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
it's certainly not even confirmed that he's even going to win this at the moment. 4 laps to go. Oh, and Rinke loses to Stevens. He's now in championship position, but that only. And look at him behind. Nicholas Meadows is coming up behind him at the moment. Nicholas Meadows, who is also on fresher tyres. Mike Rinke in big, big danger here. Although Bailey Brannan's under pressure as well. He's only got a 10th of a second for the race lead. And here comes Jesse James looking to spoil Bailey Brannan's championship party.
Cody Pruitt is there. Look at Jesse James, man. I've been pulling for that guy since the first time I read his name in this league, just because. And, the Outlaws coming through tonight, finally having the kind of performance he's wanted to have all year.
2 to go. And Brannan's not in winning position anymore. He's trying to go through the middle, but Pruitt's on the inside. He's through, and he's leading this race now.
Oh, they're going to come
trying to do
together.
everything he can. Oh, my God. Little knock back there. Brandon now up to P2 on the road.
I think Cody Pruitt's gone, my friends. I think ain't nobody going to catch him right now, I don't think.
I think so. I think Rinke, by the way, needs a top 6 with Pruitt leading the way. So as long as he finishes, he can lose one more place with Pruitt losing this. But Pruitt's only 2 points off a championship at the moment, by the way, as he's taken the race lead. 2 to go. Mike Rinke clinging on at the moment.
He's clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, but
he's got Meadows and Wing on his heels. Though. He is in a safe position at the moment. If Rinke makes a mistake and he drops positions, that's going to be it. Jesse James has now gotten past Brannan. It's going to be white flag at Homestead-Miami. 1 to go. And it's going to come down to the final lap. Can Rinke survive the next 1 and a bit miles to become the champion this season?
He's got Meadows and Wing right behind him. They are applying the pressure at the moment. Cody Pruitt's doing all he can. A great strategy at the end to take tyres on the final caution of the day has given him the opportunity to go on and win this race. It's going to be his 3rd victory of the season. He's going to rocket ahead of Bailey Brannan in the standings, and he's maybe in the conversation for a title. He goes over the line, Cody Pruitt. He wins the crash testing for dummies 150. But in the background, Mike Rinke comes home 5th. It's just enough. By 2 points, he is the I2I Motorsports Xfinity Series champion here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. What a great drive from Rinke. It's another top 5 in his wonderfully consistent season. And his race win last week at Talladega has set him up for a championship, which he gets home to by just 2 points in the end. What a great end to the season.
Wow. What a season, man. What a season. I mean, what else can you ask for out of a championship than it to come down? With 1 lap to go, you still don't know who's going to win the championship.
You've got to say, all props to Mike Rinke for winning the championship. A fantastic effort, consistent run. You've got to make the argument, though, that Brannan, if not for Talladega, would have been in a much better championship position this week. And that's all it takes, Ewan, is one bad race, whether it's by your luck or by somebody else's. That's how quickly it can go away from you. And when it mattered most, Rinke was as consistent, was as fast, and was just better throughout the whole season.
Yeah, and don't forget about Trey Jones tonight either as well. He ends the night 6 points off the championship lead based on my very provisional standings at the moment. 6 points. So all he would have needed was a top 10. And based on the way he was racing in the first part of this race, you would have absolutely expected him to get that.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate, man. I hate that for him. I hate, I like for at least to everybody to have a fighting chance, and unfortunately he was not afforded that there at the end, but that happens. That's racing. Somebody's got to lose these things for somebody else to win them. So, all right, let's see.
We've got results. Bailey Brannan in the waiting room, so we'll have a chat to him in a moment. We'll get our results up. As we just said, so Cody Pruitt takes home the race win to Jesse James and Bailey Brannan on the podium. Robert Stevens Jr. in P4. Mike Rinke, P5, claims the championship here this evening. Daniel Wing, Nick Meadows, Ryan Simmons, Trey Graber, and Tyler Murgy makes up the top 10 to Paul Harris, Chris Hone, John Roberts, Zach Smathers, Charles Rinke, Trey Jones, and Caleb Ross at the back end of the field. It was an enticing season, Ewan. It was a struggle for some. It was a benefit for others. And for Bailey Brannan, it is heartbreak here this evening as he joins us now. Bailey, congratulations on the podium tonight, P3, but unfortunately, it's not a championship to go with it.
Nope. Don't really know what to say. I mean,
FYP maybe, because he's the one that
yeah,
turned you.
that's I rewatched the incident and I told him that he actually drove into me. I honestly should have wised up and just taken the faster pair when I went down pit road, and I didn't. I'm really disappointed right now because, you know, all I'm thinking about right now is that, but also Talladega. I had a podium lined up for Talladega, and then somebody wasn't watching their gauges, and they blew up in front of me, and it caused me to wreck and ended my race. And now I was stuck in a hole coming into tonight, and I knew I had to score well in the stage. I was not able to do that. And I knew after that, I knew I had to win. And Mike and Cody were going to have bad finishes. You know, I hate that my luck took a turn for the worse these past couple races. I really tried to fight it, but sometimes you just can't fight it, you know.
I was going to ask you about Talladega a little bit, actually, because, you know, so many of these incidents at Talladega are just nothing that you can do about them. But how much do you think that is a factor in you know, just falling short this season? And how much was that pure points based, and how much was it actual momentum based in terms of the season you were having up until the playoffs, and then the sort of bad luck you've had throughout these final 3 races? I
think it killed my championship run, personally. Like, I knew then and there, like, it was going to make it very difficult for me at Homestead. So I also think it hurt my momentum a little bit. You know, it's hard to bounce back from something like that. So I think coming into tonight, my momentum was pretty much killed, and I don't know. I had to climb over a mountain to get to the championship, and I just couldn't do it.
Well, buddy.
Any more? Sorry,
go ahead. No, I was just gonna go ahead. You got. I had no question.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, if you'd like to thank anybody or shout anybody out before we let you go, then that's fine, Bailey. But other than that, thanks for chatting to us, even though you must be disappointed, and a great run tonight, nevertheless.
Yeah, I'm disappointed, to say the least. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead. I think Mike locked it up, so I'll go ahead and congratulate Mike. You know, he's been pretty underrated this year. I think he's a solid driver. I guess I'll thank anybody that was watching, that was supporting me tonight. Your support means the world. I really wanted that big trophy at the end, and I hate that I couldn't get it. But there's always next season. So I hate saying that, but kind of how I have to look at it at this point.
All right. Hey, look, I just want to say from me, it's been fun on and off the broadcast chatting with you this season. And look, the fact that you're sitting here so disappointed, you don't even want to talk to us, and you're so mad that you're finding it hard to even come up with nice things to say. I love that about you. I love somebody with that kind of competitive heart, man. And, you know, I hate that you didn't win it, but I have no doubt that you're going to put up a fight in the next one for sure. So, again, congratulations on a good season, although it wasn't what you wanted. And I look forward to seeing you around in the future.
Well, thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that. I mean, I think after tonight, I'm going to have to go play some BeamNG or some Wreckfest or something and get my frustrations out.
There you go.
So I don't.
I reckon you should go to
just go drive some officials
circuit with Paul and just have some fun with him.
I could do that. That sounds like yeah. I'll just go drive some Draft Masters.
Yeah, just go do some Draft Masters and just run people over. All right,
yeah,
buddy. We'll
you,
talk to you soon, man.
Thank you, guys.
A Draft Master. That's the perfect solution.
Yeah.
Save Trey for last. Save Race Daddy for last. Let's bring Jesse James.
We have also got Mike Rinker in the lobby further up. We'll force him to come chat to us as the champion afterwards. But we'll chat to the race winner, though, in Cody Pruitt.
Yep.
Cody, congratulations. Race winner tonight. Couldn't do any more to try and claim the championship, but a race win nonetheless. You end the season with a good amount of momentum leading into the Truck Series next week. Congratulations on the race win.
I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, I was so close, so close.
I mean, could he have gotten any
realise,
closer,
by the way,
Ewan?
the point situation when you were going round? Sorry.
No, you're right.
What did you say, sorry?
I was saying, he couldn't get much closer, could he? Like, he was
Not much closer. No. 2 points, the gap at the end. But did you know, Cody, the actual situation on the road at the time? Were you being told?
No,
Oh,
I had no clue. What do you mean about the points?
Yeah.
yeah, points, yeah.
No, I had no clue where I was. I just wanted to win. That's all it was. I just wanted to be that much closer, to winning this championship, and just missed it by a hair.
Well, I mean, just drive fast and try and win. I guess is a good strategy for the race, no matter what the point situation is. Anyway, so I guess it didn't really matter in the end. But what are the key points that you look back on in this season now as the sort of key moments where this season was won and lost? I mean, it's hard to remember that this is actually your first top 10 of the playoffs. Would it say it's these last 3 rounds that have undone you a little bit this season?
Yeah, I strung 3 or 4 not so great races together, and I think that really messed me up. And but coming out with the last win, that's pretty nice. Like you said, good momentum going into the Truck Series. But yeah, those 3 or 4 really put me behind. But
And are we going to be seeing you at the Truck Series, by the way, coming up starting next week?
yes, absolutely. Yep, I'll be there.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you there. But for now, we'll let you go unless you've got anybody to thank or shout out. Thanks for chatting to us, as always at the end of the season. Congrats on winning tonight, and commiserations on just falling short for the championship.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to say that I appreciate Trey, for putting on this league. It's been a fun time. I've gained a lot of friends, and for my family watching, I'm glad I got the win so they could see it.
Well, congrats again on the win, Cody, and we'll see you. I'm sure very soon.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much, Cody Pruitt. Victor tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Do we want to drag the champion away from his conversation?
Well, yeah, I'm stealing him.
Yeah,
I'm stealing him away. Mike Rinker, congratulations! You are the first season of the I2I Xfinity champion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you got penalized for that by we're dragging you into the booth, not of your own free will.
It's all good. So, yeah, what a great season. We had a lot of fun. I look forward to continuing this and seeing where next season leads us.
So I got one question for you. Did you have any idea where you were at coming down those last couple of laps with points? Did you know how close it was?
I did. My brother was wrecked, so he was filling me in on where we were, and I was really nervous because Bailey was looking like he was gonna run for a win, and then once he got past, I was like, "Ooh, I think I might have just won this." So I just needed to keep my nose clean and get it to the finish line. So.
Yeah, it was so close. I'm glad you knew that though, because that makes it all the more fun. And
I was. I was sweating for sure.
That's good though. That's what that's what it should be. So
yeah,
that was that's cool. I'll let them ask you some questions, but yeah, I just really wanted to know if you knew that going down. So that's good. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. In the end, 5th place tonight, Mike. What do you think the sort of key point was tonight for you in terms of picking up the result that you needed? Because it wasn't about winning for you. I guess you would have known that ever since Trey Jones was out of the picture, you effectively became championship leader at that stage. What was the sort of key moment in the race tonight where you did feel that you won the title looking back?
Well, the key moment was Trey Jones getting taken out because he was the car to beat, and he came in the lead, and I knew I was going to need to get him in stage points and in race finish if I was going to jump him. So him getting caught up in 2 wrecks really did it. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here for that for sure.
And sort of key points in the season. I mean, I've got to say, you were not one of the. There was a front four very much in the regular season before the playoffs that got themselves away from the rest of the field, and you weren't one of those actually. But in the playoffs, you had a consistent enough run to obviously accumulate enough points to win the title. So, what's the sort of key point in the season for you where you feel like things have really turned? And did you ever even dream of this when the playoffs began, that you would be in the conversation for the win?
Weeks ago, I really didn't think it was possible. Some of these guys are really fast every week, and are clearly, faster than me week to week. I pride myself in trying to get this race car to the finish line every week, so I play it a little conservative. I try to conserve tires and conserve fuel where I can, and it's worked out for me in a lot of ways.
I guess. Anyone else questions? Yeah, go on.
So, Mike, do you think that one of the contributing factors to you winning the championship was the fact you sound like how Minnesota Wild play in the NHL?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
What does that mean?
Oh,
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Hey,
I told Mike last week what it means. I'll tell you afterwards.
Mike,
Don't worry.
Congratulations, buddy. You go ahead and shout out to whoever you want to on this championship, man. And we sure do. We sure did enjoy it. It came down to the last lap. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for everybody that puts this on. Thanks for you guys broadcasting. Everybody have a good night.
Oh, guess you had nobody to
so
thank.
much, Mike.
Thanks very much.
I guess not. No. Thank you to Charles. I guess.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
We see how it is.
Charles gets no love. All right, so let's see. Well, we got Trey. Oh, he changed his name back now. He's not Race Daddy anymore. That's a real bummer. All right, so let's pull Jesse James in. We haven't talked to him all year, and he's been instrumental in some behind the scenes things in the league and everything. I want to give his props for that phenomenal second place run he had, and then we'll pull Trey in and talk about some of the future things coming up.
All right, let's drag him in. Jesse, welcome in. Congratulations on a second place run tonight from Homestead-Miami Speedway. How do you feel those last few laps, especially when as Pruitt got past you, ahead of you, and won the race in the end, but up 13 for you at the end of the day? How are you feeling at the end of that one?
Feeling good, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think I was gonna finish the race. My computer just had a stroke, and I was running those last 15 laps on like about 15 frames a second. So that was the most terrifying and intense racing I've done on this service since I joined it.
Okay, well that makes that moment when he and Rinker were side by side all much more dramatic.
Dude, I was freaking out.
If we would have known that would have made it even more exciting. If Rinker would have known that, he probably would have had a heart attack.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I found something to work with on the bottom, and I realized it was going quicker than the top, which is rare here. So I went with it, and it got me to a P2. So I'm really stoked.
Well, I called you out in the first race. I called you the Outlaw. I've been a fan all season. You and I had some interaction behind the scenes with some stuff this year in the league, and you were instrumental in a lot of that. And I just wanted to bring you in and give you your props tonight, even though, we had championship winners and guys who were disappointed and all that stuff to talk to. But I wanted to give you your little shout out just because, you've been struggling. You had some struggles this year, and you seem to really find your pace here at the end of the season. And I hope you're running the truck series because
absolutely will be. Yeah.
Good. And you're running is that old school Terry Labonte livery
yes,
you're running?
sir.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Iron Man team.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't Kyle Busch, even though I'm a Kyle Busch fan, but still, I love Terry Labonte. He's probably arguably my second favorite all-time driver. So I love Labonte, and I love so I love that livery. But so who you want to shout out to while we got you in here, man?
Oh man, just Trey Graber for even starting this whole thing up. Big shout out to all the playoff drivers as well they hell of a season for all of them. Congratulations to Mike, and big props to Cody for getting the win there at the end. And then I want to thank you guys as well. You guys have been amazing as broadcasters all season. Love you guys.
We appreciate that. And look, I expect to see you in contention in this truck series this year. Clearly, you found your space in here, so I'm looking forward to that. So,
hey, to quote somebody, you can either hop on the bandwagon or get run over by it.
That's right. That's absolutely right. All right, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right,
Congratulations again, and we'll see you starting next week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much.
All right,
Jesse James,
Let's
saving
get
the best for last.
Let's get
this season.
Let's get the boss man in here, and
everything else will be matter on it.
You
sorry.
got what? What was that?
Yeah, no, I was just talking to Mike Rinker about the car we're going to design for him next year, because we're doing the charter system. So he's actually going to stay down in the Xfinity series. So I was telling him like, hey, we're going to design you this car. So we were talking about designing it so he can run it next year and just flaunt to everybody in the Xfinity series that he's the real deal. And I mean, because this guy, he got DQ'd from a race for a technicality.
He sure did.
He got suspended for a race because of his outburst over the radio.
He sure did.
One race and still beat us.
Well, I'm glad that you brought all those things up, because I wasn't. I thought about doing that when we were having the conversation with him, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to bring up any of that negative stuff. But yes.
Well, so we had an issue this past week with some incident reports, and a call was made that wasn't how we normally ran things all season. And he got mad, and I told him, I was like, rightfully so. So we went back and we did some technicality things and found out he would have finished 2 positions higher in the regular season standings. So we gave him 2 points. Well, the man won the championship by 2 points tonight. So it's kind of a good thing. In the end, it all worked out the best we could. So I'm excited it's been a fun season. I appreciate all of you guys jumping on and helping us out with that, because it's been fun having you guys around in the Discord as well too. So
yeah, well, we're more than just a broadcast team. We're full on trouble.
I didn't say it.
Well, Hamish is anyway. I'm
I just make memes. What do you mean? I
wasn't going to mention his name.
I just turned Bailey into a kettle.
Let's talk about what's coming in your and the truck season and everything. We've got confirmation that some of these guys are already committed to racing.
Yeah, so our truck series, we've got a bunch of new guys in the Discord that we've been holding off racing. We're going to treat this next 15 or so weeks as kind of a recruitment series that we're going to bring in a bunch of new guys for our expansion coming in February of next year. So we got a lot of guys that are racing Xfinity now that are like, hey, I want to run the truck series with some of these rookies, so to speak, right? And help them learn the ropes and help learn how things are ran here and how we hold ourselves and how we handle ourselves on the radio and that kind of stuff. So we're excited. We got a pretty good schedule coming out, I think.
Where are you going to find the guys to show them how they're supposed to act? That's the question I've got. All right, I couldn't resist.
Who's the model student?
Yeah, exactly. You got to bring up the model here.
Yeah, let me get back to you on that next week. It's gonna take me a week to figure that out, but no, we got some good guys in the Discord, and like today we had an incident, and we had a lot of guys step up on the radio to where, as the admin and the owner of the league, I didn't have to say anything because some of the guys were stepping up and trying to cool the situation down over the radio the best that they could, and it worked out. So it was encouraging to see my admins and my moderators and everybody else on the driver council kind of step up and get these guys calmed down, because it was 2 guys on the driver council of all things. But we'll sit and we'll discuss that this week and kind of make sure we're all on the same page moving forward. I mean, we're called I2I for a reason. Yeah, it's the Goofy movie reference, but it's also, at the end of the day, we want to see eye to eye the best way we can with each other. We're never going to agree on everything. We can agree to disagree sometimes, but as long as we go into the next race and no rivalries, no hard feelings are against each other, then we put on good races like this tonight. So it's been a long season getting that point, but I think we've made it there, and it's been a fun journey.
Indeed. So let's pull up the truck series schedule. I mean, I dragged this on all night at my rate per hour. That so we can go all night if you want. But let me pull up the truck series schedule so we can talk about that a little bit about what we got, because there's no break. We're not we're not wasting any time.
We start next week at Michigan. I do know that for a fact.
So here we go. There we go.
Yeah, so we'll go Michigan next week, and then we're on the high banks of Talladega because we ain't wasting any time in this league. But I'm excited. We haven't run Texas, so we're gonna have fun at Texas. IRP is gonna be fun. Vegas is gonna be fun, and then we kind of go this weird stretch of, I would say the hallowed grounds of North Wilkesboro, but they repaved it on iRacing now.
That's all right, though. No, that's all right. Well,
so
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the surface is. It doesn't matter what the surface is. It's still North Wilkesboro. That's a historic track.
We're gonna bring Chicagoland in because we're gonna do that next year as well, and then Bristol, and then I don't know what happened, Hamish, but these guys love Red Bull Ring, so we're gonna go back there with the trucks.
Oh yeah, that is going to be a lot of fun. Absolute chaos.
I tell you what, Hamish,
watch
if I can
take another race win.
I will come in and do the broadcast. I will come in and do the broadcast for Red Bull Ring, Hamish, if you want to race that race with me.
Well, I was going to race that race, but I might race control now if Hamish is going to be on the track.
So we'll talk about that.
You tempt me, sir.
The gauntlet has been laid down. You are more than welcome to get out there, and I will cover that part of the broadcast, and you can just jump right on in there and do your thing. So
you tempt me, sir, to come and absolutely destroy some Americans at my favorite racetrack.
Can you imagine if you win?
Well, Jack's already won there in the Xfinity, so it wouldn't surprise us.
If I win, I'm doing the rest of the season. Like that, I'm going to the champion at that point.
Yeah, it's also nice because in November on Thursday nights, a totally separate thing. I haven't sent you guys, but we're going to be doing we're doing Super Formula Lights on Thursday nights and I2I Motorsports as well. So we're going to branch out and do some open wheel and sports car side of things too. But yeah, we'll finish at Homestead February 7th with the trucks, and I believe we have like a week off, and then it's season 2 for the ovals. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're all the guys in the league right now are excited for it. So it's gonna be a lot of fun going to season 2. We're gonna take some things we learned from
rumor
this
has
season.
it that Trey likes making schedules so much that right now he has about 37 seasons worth of schedules planned out already in his file.
Trey can neither confirm nor deny that allegation right now. We'll have Jesse Ventura do some digging and figure out for
I
sure.
promise you, Jesse Ventura has probably seen the files himself. I have no doubt that while making fish tacos, he's probably gotten to look at those. So
yeah, no, I love doing it. I love bringing the guys on and we screen share, and while I'm in Canva doing all this stuff, and they're just amazed at how I can do it, but also like just giving them input on, hey, what tracks do we want to go to and how do we want to do things. And it's been a collaborative effort from all the guys. So proud of them, proud of you guys as well. Like I said earlier, I just want to take a few minutes just to shout out our sponsors for sure. Skylark has been a massive sponsor for us this year. Been an amazing group to work with. Hawkers Automotive has been just tremendous for us all season long. William Hawker's been a great influence on me and a great kind of a person I can bounce ideas off of. And then also sponsor the series. And then we've got DRE, we got DJE from YouTube, who's gonna, I believe, give us a
yes
coaching after this. So
yep,
that'll be a lot of fun.
I'll take care of that and come in the Discord and announce the winners and everything.
So DRE on board. We've got Blue Line Technologies for the final lap. They've been good to have on. They've been our IT guys. So anytime we've had issues, we've kind of got a hold of the Strong family and said, hey, what can we do? And they've really helped us out. So yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. I'll give a shout out. I probably should have, but I'll give a shout out to them. I want to shout out Chop House Restorations for coming on board at the beginning of the season. They were fun to have around, fun sponsor to kind of get this restart zone idea off the ground and kind of how we want to do that. So proud of them as well. Just all of our sponsors for sure just have been amazing to have this year. I know my wife's been happy that all that money hasn't had to come out of my wallet. We've had people sponsor a computer racing game and give their hard-earned income to help us put on the show that we put on this season. So I want to thank all of them, and again, you guys and all the guys in the league. It's been a lot of fun this season.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you having faith, in me and Hamish and Ewan when we started this thing. When you and I started talking, you had about 8 guys in this Discord at the time, and to be honest with you, I wasn't ever sure that you were going to get enough people that you wanted, because sometimes these leagues are hard to develop, and through your hard work and perseverance, you and ups and downs, and you managed to pull it off, and so I appreciate you having faith in us, and it's been a good partnership, and it's going to be a good one moving forward as well. So
for sure.
All right, buddy. Well, I guess
thanks.
we'll let you off. Let Ewan and Hamish say something, and then we'll get out of here.
Sounds good, man.
I was just going to say the same. Thanks very much for hosting everything and organising everything this season and having us as well. And looking forward to the truck starting next week. Yeah, should be good. Should be another good season. So look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Hamish, you got nothing? You got nothing to say?
I was going to say, it's been obviously an absolute pleasure to be here each week. It's been really nice to come in every Sunday, do the broadcast, and then chat to the drivers post race as well, and build a relationship that way. And yeah, it's been my pleasure to be here each week. And now that the time zone is better, I'll be here every week to come and call the action for the trucks. It's going to be a great time. From now until April, I am a very happy man because I don't have to get up nearly as early as what I previously had to.
And folks, just so you know, early meant he had to be on air at 10 a.m. Okay, so the struggle is real in Australia. Apparently, 10 a.m.
You mentioned relationships there, Hamish, and I want to just a couple seconds piggyback on that. Jim, you mentioned, getting this thing off the ground. That's one of the things we've done well in this league. When anybody's been struggling with anything, just the camaraderie and relationship we built with each other is what's kept this thing going, kept this train chugging along, and it's getting to the point where people are inviting their friends and their siblings and saying, hey, you have to be a part of this, not just for the racing, but just the community of brothers that we've built with each other. So I think that alone has been what's got this thing off the ground and skyrocketed the way it did.
Yeah, well, I have to say, for a brand new startup league, and I watched it grow, and I saw, I've seen it happen, and it doesn't happen for a lot of people. I can't tell you how many guys I've known that have started leagues and they never developed into this. And you're really about to take off, so it's just really getting going. This is still the beginning.
Yep.
So, all right, buddy. Well, I'll probably be here next week too. I'm pretty sure I'll jump in for a while just to make sure everything's going good and everything. But we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you guys next week.
All right, guys. I'd like to just say to you two, it's been a fantastic season. We've had a lot of fun. We even got Hamish we even got Ewan where he's cracking jokes now. We broke him down.
I told you I could do it, Jim. I told you I could break down
the serious broadcaster down, and
yep,
we got him telling jokes now.
Jim, just wait until it's just me and Ewan next season.
It'll be bad. Yeah. Well, he'll probably be telling pasta jokes with you. It'll be, that bad. We even got him doing puns. Last week we did something and he made
what I said.
Yeah, it was something about a guy with his last name was Long, and you said something about he waited a long time for that, and I didn't even respond. And you're like, "What'd you say?" you were like, "That was a joke or something."
It's always bad when you have to point out it's a joke,
because
isn't it?
just look, I mean, you were, I mean, no offense, you're a phenomenal commentator, one of the best on no bull, one of the best on the internet, man, as far as doing this stuff. But you took your job extremely seriously when I first met you, and I like to cut up, and it took you and I a while to find our groove together for sure, but you've definitely lightened up around me, at least for sure. So I've enjoyed working with you. And Hamish, I just want to thank both of you. It's been a great season, and I look forward to going on from here.
I'd just like to point out as well, Jim, I'm getting pressured now from my better half to race Red Bull Ring, so I think I will be racing that race apparently. So I'm going to use the next 3 months to practice for Red Bull.
You're going to be by far the most practiced, and therefore probably win, which is quite a scary prospect.
Yeah, well, Jack Anderson's going to be there, so
Yeah.
Jack's fast.
Jack's not here tonight.
Yeah, but Jack may be good at Red Bull Ring, but I'm better at Red Bull Ring.
Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, there it goes. Yep, I need to record that.
Started. Yeah. By the way, I was going to say that race. By the way, put it in your diaries. 13th of December. I know it's a long way away, but it's a lot to look forward to. Yeah,
I thought it was in November.
I think so.
Let me pull the schedule up.
That's in December.
Yep, 13th of December.
13th of December. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna definitely put that out there. We'll have everybody in here watching that one. That's what we need to have a watch party for.
Yeah.
All right.
But
all right, guys. So let's sign off here and get off. It's probably like 4:00 in the morning for Ewan or something.
It's just after 3, but I'm used to it. But yeah, we will sign off, and of course, thank you as well to everybody who's watched along, even into this far. In fact, or past all the thank yous and whatever, for a great season. It has been fantastic to cover the first I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship. In the end, it's Mike Rinker who takes the title. 2 points, we believe, provisionally at the end. It looks like that's the way it's going to stay. Cody Pruitt just behind. Trey Jones and Bailey Brannan within 10 points as well, by the way, at the end of the season, despite their trials and tribulations throughout the playoffs. It's been a wonderful 3-race little burst towards the end. We've got 15 races of Truck Series action coming up until the start of February, by the way, with just a couple of weeks off over the Christmas period. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Hope you'll join us for all of that. Starting from Michigan next week, we'll be live just after 8 o'clock Eastern time with that one. So very much hope you can join us then once again. But for now, that's it from us here at the Xfinity Championship. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Hamish Monroe and Jim Cunningham. And until we see you for the Truck Series starting from Michigan next week, it's goodbye for now.